welcome to another episode of the Mommyana podcast with Mommyana Elia. This is the first recording of 2024. So I'm wishing all of my followers and subscribers a blessed year, wishing you all lots of abundance in every area of your life. Time is flying by. Like, I've been doing this since 2021. It's crazy. Like, there's been a lot of hurdles and struggles, but 2024, we're going to do better with Mommyana podcast. There's a lot of great stuff coming through. So all of y'all who have been supporting me and holding it down, I love y'all. I appreciate it, and stay tuned. But today I'm super excited because we have two amazing women joining me today. We have Christina and K'iara, and I'll let them both go ahead and introduce themselves. Go ahead. You go ahead first, Christina.
All right. My name is Christina, and I am a new Mommyana. I just had my daughter in August 2023. So I am 4 months postpartum, and I am just enjoying this journey.
Awesome.
Hey y'all, I am K'iara Mommyana. By the way, I love that name. I love it so much. I love it. I became a mother April 2020, so pandemic mommy. But loving it.
Awesome. And so all of us worked in education before too. That's how we're initially connected. But I've actually known Christina for quite some time. We went to Smiley Middle School together. That school was so just raggedy. But
I had a great time at Smiley. I'm like, I loved Smiley.
Okay, so let me say, because I'm from Atlanta. Smiley was the first school I ever walked into,
and it was fun, huh? It was fun, huh?
I was like, who are these people?
Who are these people? I loved it too, but honestly, I feel like I did not learn anything all 3 years there. It was just super ratchet. I ain't gonna lie. Only thing I learned how to do was fight because I had to.
Y'all was walking miles to fight. I ain't never heard nothing, seen nothing.
Going to the Holly.
Miles.
Well, I was pulling chairs from underneath people.
It was going down.
That's where I learned new stuff about you all the time.
It was going down at Smiley, for real. But so yeah, I've been knowing Christina since middle school, and then we went to East for a brief amount of time together. And although we were never close friends, I feel like we've always been kind to each other in passing, and it's just always been good vibes with you. I feel like we should be closer friends though, because we have a lot in common, and I just like your energy. We on the same level with that. You feel me? And then K'iara, we worked together for a brief amount of time at Martin Luther King Jr. Early College back in 2014. And then we just recently completed the Urban Leadership Foundation together too, got to know each other a little bit more. But like I said, I'm super excited to have both of these ladies here. Thank you all for joining me. And today's going to be a good conversation. We're going to talk about life after becoming a Mommyana, which I'm sure is something a lot of our followers out there could relate to. But before we hop into it, I want to know, how is you guys' new year going? How'd y'all bring in the new year?
You want me to start? You want to go, Key?
Oh, it doesn't. Go ahead, Christina.
Okay, well, so all three of us were in education. I recently left education, but only in the sense of I'm no longer in the classroom. And so this 2024, I've started my own business, and I'm taking all of my creative energy and my intellectual energy and dumping it into my own endeavors, because I feel like for so long I have put all of my efforts into propelling other people's agenda forward, and so I'm like, damn, if I can do that for them, imagine what I can do for myself if I apply all of my effort towards my dreams, and I'm really trying to treat my all of my creative possibilities and my business ideas. I'm trying to treat them with the respect and the attention that they deserve. So I've left the classroom, and now I'm starting a consulting business. And so right now I'm learning all the framework. Okay, what do I do? Do I do an LLC? Do I do a nonprofit? What is a social enterprise? How do I build a contract? How do I have, the kind of language, when you're I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer, for my YouTube videos, what's it called? Discretionary language, something like that. So nonetheless, that's how I've started off this new year of really investing in myself and my ideas and propelling them forward. And that's actually how I ran into you last time, was because, K'iara's birthday, Capricorn. I'm like, what better sign to help you build a business, right? But that's where last time I ran into you and I was telling you about that. So I'm happy to be surrounded by like-minded women who are also, pushing their own things forward, but also supporting me, and then also safe women. So that's been for me so far, and I've been enjoying it a lot.
That's so dope. Like, that's a great start to the new year. Young boss out here.
That part. Yeah. So yes, Christina's absolutely amazing and dope. Energy is always top notch. So my new year started with intention, like clearing my closet, like randomly picking up a devotional that talked about cleaning your closet, clearing your heart. So that was well before I started. So I started cleaning out my closet. I was like, I have too much stuff. This is just, what am I holding on to? Just letting go of things from just the past, right? And I just realized, like, speak speak purpose into your life. Be intentional about relationships and people that you're around. Be intentional about the things that you're reading and the things that I'm indulging myself in. So, truly setting those intentions. So for New Year's, like, we were at the house. Like, I went to a friend's house and was like engaged in like fun stuff that I never watched the show. I was talking to my kids about it. They told me I was like 5 years like in the past. So I was like, whatever. Well, so I learned Squid Games. I went to I went to Christina's for her.
I was like, why is she trying to hide it? I was like, she was at my house.
I wasn't sure. Listen,
then I had to think. I was like, if she asked me, then I'm gonna act like I don't know what she's talking about. But it was my party.
It was her party, and it was so fun. And I came in second place. However, her floor was not doing it for one of the games, but that's fine. She was cheating. But I learned Squid Games. But again, it's just kind of like stepping out of like my normal and being a part of people's lives that bring like intention, that pour life into you, that it's not a stressor to be around them. And then you got to go and be a recluse because your energy is depleted, right? Like, so just being intentional about who's in my space, what I'm doing, cooking more. I've been in the kitchen a
nice.
lot.
I know you mentioned
My grandmother.
Start doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So cooking more, wanting to be more of a wine connoisseur. So those are the pieces. And not really letting my career define me. So I am in education, as y'all know, but like I'm a teacher over at Denver East High School and absolutely love it. But I always led with that. And I'm just like, nah, like I'm a mom. Like my son's gonna be proud of the boss that I am because of what I do at home. Like he's going to, like see all the things that I do, the people that are being brought into his life. So that's it. Started my year with intention.
Nice. I love that too. That's a great way. So my new year, I had all these plans. Like me and my homegirl Whitney, we're gonna have a vision board party, have a crab boil, and then I ended up getting sick. So all that got thrown off the table. We're gonna go to the hot springs too. So my New Year's was like solo in the crib, me and my mom. I was definitely asleep by like 10 o'clock. So that sucked because I was really looking forward to doing the vision boards. But I still have all my stuff, so I still need to make that happen. But even despite all that, I've been getting back into my gratitude jar. So every morning I wake up, I have a sticky note and I have this little jar. So I'll write something I'm grateful for. And I kind of like to start my days off with that, just being grateful for. There's so much in my life that I am grateful for and that I need to acknowledge because sometimes I be getting overwhelmed with stuff, but there's still so much good things happening. So I think that's a great way, like you said, with intention to just like start your day off with. So I've been doing that, getting back in the gym. I was sick for like 2 weeks. So getting back in the gym is almost like starting over when you've taken that amount of time back. But I really do love working out. And so I'm happy to be back in the gym doing that. But cool. Sounds like everybody's starting off with a great new year. So let's go ahead and get into our topic, though. Like I said, we're going to be talking about life after becoming a mommyana. So I think after you become a mom, your whole life completely changes. It's a life changing experience, but I consider it to be life's greatest blessing. You get to carry a whole human being in your belly for 9 months, and then you get to have this human, and then you get to see them grow, which seems like it happens overnight. Everything happens so quickly, but it's really a miraculous process, and it's such a blessing to see them grow every day. But I think there's a lot of trials, tribulations, challenges that come with that. Like every day isn't just sunshine and rainbows, but there is a lot of beautiful things that come with it too. So I want us to keep it real today, and talk about the beauty of motherhood as well as some of the challenges. So my first question to you both is, what is your favorite thing about motherhood?
I would say, this topic, by the way, like I'm tough. Like I'm a Capricorn, so I'm tough.
You
But I
be
might
praying,
get like
girl.
a little teary eye. Listen, I do.
I'm like, you be praying, girl.
I be praying. Listen. Hey, what happens in you love stays. Don't be petty,
You're right. You're
boo.
right.
But I try to make it seem like I'm tough. But with this, hearing him just say "mommy" and like know that that is for me, like this kid, this beautiful human is so deeply in love with me that I walk into a room and you just want me, right? Like you hug me, sometimes you just want my love, and then you're fine, like you go do your thing. Like that's the most beautiful part for me. And yeah, like yeah, it could make a rough day a beautiful day. It could make all your problems just go. So that for me, that's what it is.
Agreed. Agreed. What about you, Christina?
Most beautiful thing about being a mother. When you first asked, I thought about my relationship with my own mother and like so much of the beauty that I've had in that relationship and how nourishing and healing and unconditional that is. And I look at my daughter and I'm happy I had a daughter. Like I wouldn't mind a boy, but I'm just like, there's something just, I think the divine feminine energy is really strong in my family. And I just am so excited. For one, I feel like she is the result of a lot of work and healing and trying in my relationship, and I also just feel like, man, it's just exciting to have someone that's a continuation of you, but also that's going to be their own person in their own light and have their own, things that they're gonna have their own personality and stuff. But I think the overall thing for me is just like the unconditional love that I grab to her, but then she also gives in return. I think that kids, and we see this in education all the time, no matter what their parents do, like they love their parents. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that's a part of it. But I'm just, yeah. I want to do, I was going to say, back to your gratitude jar. I want to do that, but I feel like with a newborn, I can't do nothing in the morning. I'd be forgetting to do anything. Like
You do it
that
every
jar would have remained
time.
closed. I'd be like, thank you, God. Keep going.
You could do it any point of the day, at nighttime, lunchtime, whenever you want. It's good to be able to reflect back on it, though. At the end of the year, I like
Mhm.
pour them all out, and then I just read everything. It's really rewarding. It makes me feel even more grateful reflecting back on that. For me, I'd say the thing I love most about being a mother is just being able to like watch her grow and like seeing like that's a whole part of me right there. Like she's so similar to me in a lot of different ways. And like you said, the unconditional love. Like I love her so deeply and I know she loves me so deeply too. It's like a love you can't even explain, you know what I'm saying? But just being able to watch her grow, she's very polite, very mannerable, and just being able to see all of the things that I like pour into her, like come out. It's a beautiful thing. Like I know that I'm doing a great job. It's very reassuring just to see the young toddler that she's growing up to be. But I know she's going to grow up to be an even greater woman than me. So, yeah, that's what I like most, just seeing her develop constantly. Okay. So my next question would be, what is some unexpected changes that you experienced after becoming a mom or even like during pregnancy?
I saw you took a breath in like you was about to start. So I'm like, you want to go ahead? Are you sure? I think he said pregnancy or after you've had the baby. So for one, I would say during pregnancy, I think before experiencing pregnancy, I had this assumption that women just grew, but that was just it. Like, just the growth of the tummy and everything was just kind of it. And then when I became pregnant, I was like, ooh, like, oh my goodness, like I have these things um, swelling, these things. So physically, there's a lot of change, but also I would say during my pregnancy, I started to look at stress and giving it the weight that it deserves in terms of trying to eliminate it. And so during my pregnancy, I took FMLA, and I really decentered my career, and so that I can take care of my pregnancy and experience the pregnancy without having a deadline looming, without having to do this hustle and bustle thing that so many people are expected to do, working all the way up to the very, very, very last day possible before you go on leave and such. And so I think that there were huge physical changes, but then there was also a big value shift for me that happened in the middle of my pregnancy. And then that has continued to evolve post pregnancy. So even now, before I really, and I think I heard Key say this too, it's just centralized my career. Like if I would have been on this interview for something else, before I had the baby, I would always point out to the fact that I was a distinguished teacher, that I had all these accomplishments within special ed realm and all these things. And then once I went on FMLA, and then after that I was unemployed, none of that meant nothing. Like not that it meant nothing, but it was like, I'm unemployed. I'm looking for work. You know what I mean? And so that fell a couple of notches down. But now I'm a contractor, so I'm creating my own schedule, and so that is very important to me that I am able to have this work-life balance that allows for me to be present with Mila. So I would say those were the biggest shifts for me, in addition to some shifts with relationships. With my friends, and not in a negative way. Like I don't want anybody watching like, oh dang, that's what happened. That's like, it's just, I feel like stepping into motherhood is a huge life change, just as much I think as, I don't know, some of the other ones that are listed. But it's a huge shift to your identity, and it's a big change. And so I just feel like now I'm connecting with other moms. Before, if I heard moms talking about some mom stuff, I'd be like, "Oh Lord, here we go. What are they talking about?" Now I'm looking for somebody to talk about a baby Bjorn with, and all these things with. So yeah,
it does definitely change your relationships for sure. And I could relate to you saying like how your career just changed, because I feel like I too have been always on this path of like upward mobility, like getting raises, getting promoted. Like I'm going after my master's. And it's like when I had my child, like all of that kind of went to a standstill. I've been at the same job now since 2021 in the same position, but also it's been a blessing because I work fully remote, and I've been able to watch my child on my own during that whole time. And even though some days are very challenging, like I'm just so grateful I've been able to be her first teacher, like I know a lot of women don't have the opportunity to spend that much time with their children. And for me, that's like super duper important. So, I wouldn't trade that in for any type of promotion or any type of money. Like, I don't think any type of money would be worth that. And I know like when she gets in school and she gets a little older, like, my time will come back and mama will be back on the grind. But right now, we're just doing what's best for her. And then what was I going to say? Oh, about pregnancy changes. So I had a lot of weird things happening to me when I was pregnant. For one, I was hella constipated. That might be TMI. Two, I had like black circles around my eyes, like blotches on my eyes. I was looking so ugly, especially that last month. It was super struggly for me. And then I had like a tumor growing on my tooth. They said that's like pretty common during pregnancy. And then I remember one night I was out at a comedy show and it just like fell off on my plate. Like it was right. It was
Wait,
something weird.
was you at the improv? Because you gonna be
Yes,
dancing
I
there.
was. And I was front row too. I was like, oh my God.
who was the comedian?
Like, who are we seeing? Godfrey. And I just remember all night I was just like, I'm surprised he did that. Anyway.
At least you had the spotlight, because that, oh my goodness, it's driving dark. I be having to put my light on my food because I don't like to eat food in the dark.
That was crazy though. I'm like, why? It was growing like right here in the middle of my teeth. It was so embarrassing. It looked crazy. And then I feel like afterwards too, I just really struggled with like the weight gain, like bouncing back. So when I got pregnant, I was like 150. And then, I was 150 when I got pregnant. When I delivered her, I was like 185. So it took me like, I think after I had her, I dropped like 10 pounds off top. And then I was stuck at like 172 for a cool minute. But I was also in a very toxic relationship. So I think that definitely contributed to me like maintaining that weight and just not being in a healthy headspace, mental space. But that's something I struggle with because I've always been smaller. So I was walking around little chubster, feeling super insecure and just, so that was a struggle for me just to bounce back. What were you going to say, K'iara?
I would not co-sign Chubster. I would put other people in Chubster, not you. But but we feel what we feel, right? Like that's it. Whatever. I'm not going to shift too much here, but like for me, I was so worried about having my son alone because I was pregnant during the pandemic, and there were moments when we closer to my delivery date that we would hear or we would see the policies and the doctor in the office talk about only the mother can be in the delivery room. And there were appointments that I had to go to by myself and FaceTime him. And so there were all these restrictions. So being pregnant in the midst of a pandemic was stressful. It was stressful. Like I told my doctor straight out, I was full term, but he wasn't fully ready. Like my mucus plug hadn't released yet. But I just told her, so y'all have the ability to come to the parking garage once I go into labor because I'm not going upstairs by myself. Like, and she was like, it's probably not sanitary. Y'all bring some towels, some blanket. You do what you got to do, but I'm not going to a room by myself. Like his father will be there with me to welcome his first child as well. So the pandemic, like me being pregnant, I ate real trifling food. Like Chipotle's not trifling. Little Caesars isn't either. But like that's all I ate. Like I was eating all the time. I love McDonald's pancakes and sausage. Like, and those are I just ate bad food. Like it was so good. It was so good. I was extremely tired, winded. I didn't really taking a couple of steps. I was like, ooh. But I didn't really get like the pregnancy belly until I was about ready to give birth. Like I was like in a hoodie and people would not know I was pregnant. And I did not get like the joy of like pregnancy too, because I would go to work, come home, and would be asleep. Being like, we were all in relationships at that time, but like for me, like getting pregnant was a huge social shift for me. Cause like I would usually go out, I would be like in the club, like me and my boyfriend would go out, and then it became, I would be home. And he would be out. So I dealt with like some resentment during that time as well. So for me, it was a lot of emotional strain. And then, one of the things that you did, Christina, that I absolutely love and admire is you were one with your pregnancy. Like you really, like you and Mila were bonded and connected, and you celebrated every day, every moment. Like you did all of that. And it was just business. It was, let me make sure I'm healthy. Let me go to sleep. Let me make sure I'm drinking enough water. I'm taking my vitamins. I'm going to do it was like a to-do list so that I wasn't to blame for anything that might have gone wrong, right? Like, so I was like, let me make sure I'm doing everything I need to do to make sure I'm bringing in a healthy child. And that was it. Like, that was it. I don't think that we slept on our recliner from the time I was 6 months until Zaire got to until he was 6 months. We were on a recliner because you do the chest to chest. But sleeping is uncomfortable. And they tell you sleep a lot, but you can't sleep. That's why you sleep a lot, because you got to get all your sleep in when you can get a comfortable time to sleep. So sleeping on the recliner, you can't be all the way back. You can't lay on this side or that side. I don't think I dealt. I was gassy, and let me tell you, if it ain't nothing that my mama didn't give me, she had a badass. Like that, it was bad. Like this dude would be pissed at me, and I'm like, I can't help it. I don't know what you want me to do.
That's love, though.
He'd be like, turn the other way. Okay, it's still gonna come over here. That's how hair works, but whatever.
Getting
so that's right. But that was it. That was it. And
that's funny.
when he came, I began to realize like setting boundaries. But we'll get there. So yeah, that was me.
What do you guys think were like some of the biggest challenges since you've become a mom? I would say for me, kind of like what you were just saying with sleep, like I feel like I'm permanently tired, you know? Like I've kind of gotten used to it, but it seems like no matter how much sleep I get, I'm just always going to be tired, you know? And then also like before I had a kid, I was definitely living my best life. Like you said, I wasn't really like a clubbing. I've never been like a clubber type person, but I was traveling 2019, 2020, right before the pandemic hit. Like I remember I had went on like 11 vacations that year. I was always gone somewhere. Like I was always doing something. So I think like just having my life slow down like that and not being able to just get up and move when I want, that has been a little challenging at times. But now that she's getting older, like she just rolls with me everywhere and it's all good. You know? What about you ladies though?
I did want to say though, because I felt like I held back my answer because I didn't know what was going to come out. But during my pregnancy, I do want to say I did have some bad hemorrhoids. Like, hemorrhoids? Me? Hemorrhoids? Like, I was like, what the fuck? So, or what the heck? I don't know what you say on this podcast, but I was like, what the heck? So that was a big change for me. And I want to say I did gain 70 pounds over the course of my pregnancy. But then just as fast as it came on, it like by month 3, I was about where I was before. And so everybody's just so different. But regarding the hardest thing after having the baby, I think it's trying to separate or distinguish myself from motherhood. So who am I, Christina? And then I know that I'm a mother. I'm now like trying to be a business owner. I have all these different identities, but right now I don't feel like I have this demarcation of where I stop and where Mila begins, or where I stop and where like where my motherhood stops, and you know what I mean, and my individual self begins. Because I think right now, especially, like I have all this flexibility with my work schedule and such, but I take care of Mila for most of the day, you know what I mean? And so it's like I don't really have a lot of this, I'm not even saying like fun time, but just like self time. Because I used to during my pregnancy, even I had way more. Like I was meditating, and I would go to yoga, and I would go for a walk in the park, and I had healthy doses of alone time. Whereas like now, I just don't have a lot of alone time, and it's not even like I want to be away from Mila or be away from my husband. It's just but I think that alone time is healthy. And so I think now that Mila is 4 months, I'm hoping. And my dad contacted me. My dad called me. He was like, "Listen, he's a Capricorn too. You need to figure out." He was like, "You need free time, but it has to be productive, not just free time. You need to plan out your workout. You need to figure out what you're going to do. And I will watch Mila." And so, he's really encouraging that. And I think he's right, because right now, sometimes I'm so tired when I do get free time. I'm taking a nap. I'm trying different lip liner combinations. I'm not sometimes using it productively as I should be. And so I think that's right now where I'm at for myself, just the individual health, self-care.
But hey, rest is essential, you know. You got to get you some rest on. So I think that's important, right, especially when they're that small, because you're constantly waking up so many hours. Like when you started sleeping through the night, I was so happy, like just to be getting at least like 6 hours of straight sleep. So I think rest is productive. You're not getting it, you know what I'm saying? So be gentle on yourself. What are you gonna say, K'iara?
Yeah, no, similar to that, but just saying like your time. Like I realize, because I'm an agenda person. Like I used to have calendars everywhere around my house. My bathroom, the guest bathroom, the kitchen, my bedroom, on the way out the door. Like, there were calendars and they all had the same thing on it, right? Like, so you don't always have to have a checklist of things to do. And when you're filling your cup, it could just be filling your cup by trying on recliner combos. Like, that is a time of mindfulness, right? Like, it's fine, it's okay, So, but I continuing to respond to you, Christina, because you brought up a lot of things. Like, being a first time mother, it's boundaries. And I love that, like, that we have a village around us that comes in and supports us, right? Like, not everybody has that blessing, and people are given what they're given. Like, I'm not saying that like, people are given what they're given, but leaning into the blessings that we have. However, those blessings also have opinions because they have done this before too. And so for me, one of the biggest things that I'm still learning is I am Zaire's mother. Like, I was given this blessing of a child. I was trusted with his life. And so what I think, what I feel, what I do with him is what I want to, like, it's okay because that is my child. And so not letting people's opinions and comments and stuff like bother me so much, right? Like, before having him, even going into his second year of life, like, I was always a people pleaser. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, this, oh, that, right? And I was like, my identity is his mother right now. Like, I've grown to be the woman I am because I became his mother. And so I'm like, if I'm going to be a boss, like, I have to be a boss. Like, I don't want him to have a timid mother, right? So I'm like, how do I correct people or speak my mind respectfully? Because then I also can pop off because I haven't processed enough, right? So it's taught me to set those boundaries for myself and then create rules for people. Like, here's my boundary, but here's the rule for you when you decide to step into that arena. And so I think that's really, I since becoming a mom, like, I wouldn't change the woman that I've become. I can't think about being who I was now. I just can't. I think that even going out all the time, I go out now and I'm like, I keep seeing y'all, what the heck? And you had that same outfit on back in the day. I'm gonna need you to clean your closet. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just like you have a different appreciation for the way you spend your time, who you spend your time with, right? Like, relationships are so intentional now, and you're not chasing after relation. Like, it just is so. It's such a healthier mental space, and then you look and receive people different, right? Like, because your child is looking at you, your child is seeing that. So
exactly. Yeah, I can relate to a lot of what you said, especially the people pleasing. I think that's a very negative trait I had of mine, like, prior to becoming a kid, something prior to becoming a kid, prior to having a kid. So that's definitely something that I've been working hard at too, because I don't want her to have that. Like, I want her to be able to draw boundaries with people. And I know she's watching my every move. I want her to be able to tell people no and, like, just be able to stand on that and that be her final answer. That's something I really struggled with for some reason. Well, I know those reasons because I've done my work to dig out why I was such an insecure person. But going back, kind of tracing back to our New Year's, I don't know if I asked you guys New Year's resolutions or goals, but a goal of mine, I've always been a very, like, shy, more introverted person. Goes back to childhood type stuff too. But I want to step into my light this year, and, like, really step outside. I feel like I was created different for a reason, to be seen, not to be in the back, to be the ghost in the room all the time. So I think this podcast actually helps me a lot to use my voice. I am terrible at public speaking. I get so, like, my anxiety is through the roof. So I think this really helps me a lot. So again, I thank you ladies for coming on here and having the conversation with me, because this is helpful for me as well. But do you all have any advice to future Mommyanas out there? Any tips, tricks, anything you'd like?
My advice would be it's really what I see Christina do, And I've known you like 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 years. I've known
2018, 2017, 2017.
girl, I do letters, not math. I don't know 27. Either way, it's been some years since 2017 that I've known her, but she's always been true to herself, and I don't know if she sees that, right? And so the advice that I would give to people is really what I've seen her do, and then advice coupled with what I've experienced. But so my first piece is once you find out that you have a blessing in you, like you have been gifted this blessing, be one with it. Enjoy every moment, feel every feel, find the time to sit in that. The other piece is begin to build those boundaries and know that people's advice aren't your instruction manual. People's advice is simply just that. People's experiences giving birth, people's experiences during pregnancy, like it is all of that. And if somebody is wanting to sit you down and talk to you, pause them because no matter what boundaries you put up, it still seeps into your mind. And know that an epidural is a damn button that you got to push so that you can. So listen, and it don't work on both sides. Sometimes it's just only one. Okay, so but yeah, so truly just know like your journey in pregnancy is yours, but truly take it all in and build those boundaries so that people know that even though you're a first time mother, you are sound enough to be a wonderful mother to the gift that you've been given.
Amen to
Thank you
that.
for that. Yes, I'm like, thank you.
Pastor Key.
um, I think a part of because I really did I loved being pregnant. Like I think also I'd waited so long. Like my maternity journey started off with being told as a teen I wouldn't be able to have kids, and then I was on birth control for a long time. Then I was off for 5 years before I got pregnant, and so it felt like a whole decade of and my self-efficacy with it was also impacted. Like, damn, like, why can't I have kids? Why can't I do this? What is wrong with me? Why haven't I been able to do this? And then I was going to medical checkups and always being told I was healthy, healthy, healthy. So then I was like, what is the karmic lesson that I have not learned yet? Like, what is, you know what I mean? And so I think that when I became pregnant, I was just like, man, so many things in life, can go wrong. But when things are going right, when things are going well, I really try to celebrate the fact that they are going well. When, you know what I mean? Or so with the pregnancy, like I swam, I decorated my tummy, I did all these things and to be present in that experience. But I think if I had advice towards a new mama, I think for one is that you don't have to accept information because of who it's coming from. Like you don't have to, you should always test the validity of information that's coming to you, even if it's from a professional. I start off my pregnancy journey thinking that I would want to be in a birthing center. I wanted to decolonize my experience. I was like, I don't want to be in these hospitals. But, we see that the Black maternal mortality rate is getting higher in 2023. It's going up. And so I was just like, I'm going to try to find a birthing center. And then I was at the birthing center and, wait, actually, let me back up. I start off with with resident OBGYN. I had all my labs done there. Then I decided I wanted to leave the hospital. So then I toured different birthing centers. So I think that new moms should do this. Tour different hospitals, tour different birthing centers. Treat it as though like you, because you have say so. You know what I mean? As along with your, if you have interest, whatever. But I'm just saying like venture out and see, and then look up different providers that you might be interested in, especially if you want Black providers, because there's not that many to pick from. You know what I mean? I know that Diana Roper is one, and she's at the Midwives of St. Joe's. And if you say her name in a lot of these groups and stuff, people know her because there's just not that many. And so I just think that the same way that we're selective with like who's going to do our facial, or who's going to do our nails, and we do research, and we, you know what I mean? Same thing with your care providers and such, and where you choose to give birth. Like I thought I wanted the birthing center, and then I went up to 41 weeks. And when I got there, they checked and I didn't have any more amniotic fluid because my what is that? Not pancreas. What is it called that delivers nutrients to the baby? Placenta. My placenta had given what it was meant to give. And so after that, I had to be sent out from the birthing center, and I landed into the care at the midwives at St. Joe's. And I'm so grateful that it happened that way because, I wanted Black providers and stuff. And that's exactly where I landed, over at St. Joe's. But so I think research and figure out who you be comfortable with who it is that you want to be holding your hand through this journey. I recommend getting a doula. And I know so many wonderful women in our community who are doulas. I think that, with a doula, which is Nurse Hawkins. I don't know if y'all know her, Felicia Hawkins. I'm gonna just put a plug out there, but she she was my doula, and I felt like in that room when I was laboring, I felt like everybody was doing their best. You know what I mean? Like I felt like there was almost like a supervisor in the room. I'm like, because your supervisor can be like, "Ooh, let me make sure I'm working." That's how I felt with the doulas. I felt like everybody was showing up with their absolute best. And I just felt really supported. So I'd recommend that. And let me think. I think there was one more thing. I can't remember. Those were the main ones. But yeah.
That's some great advice. And I agree with the doulas. I had a doula as well. Shout out to Jahala Walker. She's also my massage therapist for the past 3 years. She is amazing. But I think it's important to have a solid support system. Like even after baby gets here, like it really does take a village to raise a kid. I'm so grateful for mine. My mom helps out a ton. My brother, my sister, Cody, shout out to all of y'all. Like I love you guys so much. And I would say the most important thing is just to be gentle with yourself. You're growing a whole life inside of your body. Like there's so much change going on. Like just be gentle with yourself. Yeah, that's my little advice there. But thank you both again for joining. We're about to go smash some sushi now, guys. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. But thank you for all of my followers and subscribers for tuning in again today. If you guys have any questions, always looking for guests as well to come into the podcast. So slide in them DMs on IG at mommyana.podcast. And you can also send me an email at mommyana.podcast@gmail.com. And then shout out to my brother Derek for this fire beat and for editing my episodes. It's love, bro. Thanks. I appreciate you. And until next time, see you guys later.
Be Weatherly, go kill it.